You ever feel stuck or just drained, kind of off, and you can't quite put your finger on why? Well, it might not be because life is just hard. It might actually be because of these tiny, invisible habits that you repeat every single day. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on 9 of these destructive patterns that are silently sabotaging your peace. You see, the first step to breaking them is just learning to see them in the first place.
And that's really the core idea right there. These habits, they feel normal, they feel familiar, maybe even harmless. But as we're about to see, they're the ones shaping your thoughts, your reactions, and ultimately, your entire reality. But here's the good news. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. And that right there is where the real change begins. All right, so let's dive into our first section, which covers 3 habits that all circle around one really powerful idea. We're gonna call it the external validation trap. This is all about how we unknowingly, and I mean completely unconsciously, give our power away to the world around us. Okay, first up is the constant nagging need for approval. Just think about it for a second. You post something online and you find yourself checking for likes. You say something in a meeting and you immediately scan the room for reactions. This habit is so common, it's practically invisible to most of us. And here's the poison. You're basically outsourcing your self-worth. You're tying your own value to the fleeting, totally unstable opinions of other people. But what if you made a little shift? Before you do something for that hit of approval, just pause and ask yourself this one simple question. Would I still do this if absolutely no one was watching? The answer to that? It can be incredibly revealing. Now, this one ties directly into our next habit, overreacting. This is what happens when those small, everyday annoyances, traffic, a spilled coffee, suddenly have the power to completely hijack your day, your mood, your focus, everything. When you do this, you effectively become a slave to your circumstances. You let your emotional state get dictated by things you have zero control over. The shift, though, is deceptively simple. Just delay your response. By creating a tiny pocket of space between an event and your reaction, you take back your power. You get back in the driver's seat. And the third habit in this category, oh boy, this one is supercharged by social media, is constant comparison. You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling through your feed and suddenly your own life, it just feels less than. And this is exactly why it's so toxic. You're comparing your full, messy, behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's perfectly curated highlight reel. It's a game you are guaranteed to lose every single time. The real shift happens when you change the question you're asking. Stop looking outward and asking, what do they have? And start looking inward and asking, what am I building? Okay, now we're gonna move to our second category of habits. We can think of this as the internal time prison. These are the patterns that keep us mentally trapped, either replaying the past or rehearsing the future, but never truly living right here in the present. Let's start with habit number 4, living in the past. Now, this isn't just about remembering things, it's about being attached to them. It's that endless loop of replaying old conversations, revisiting mistakes, and clinging to what's already gone. The corrosive effect here is simple. You're wasting a ton of energy trying to control something that no longer exists. The past is only heavy because we refuse to put it down. The shift here is incredibly practical. Extract the lesson and then release the rest. Ask yourself, what did this teach me? And then do just that. Take the wisdom, but leave the weight behind. And this leads us perfectly to the other side of that same coin, obsessing over the future. It's a really simple equation. Dwelling on the past creates regret, and obsessing over the future creates anxiety. That leaves only one place where you have any real power, where action is even possible, and that is right here, right now, in the present. And the final habit in this section is complaining. It feels productive, but all it really does is reinforce a sense of helplessness. This simple 3-step process is the perfect antidote. The next time you catch yourself complaining, just ask, can I actually do anything to change this? If the answer is yes, then put your energy into action. If it's no, focus on acceptance. It's a super powerful tool that just cuts right through that victim mentality. Okay, for our final category, we're looking at what I call the spiral of avoidance. These last 3 habits are all rooted in fear and a desire to run away from the very things that actually help us grow. This brings us to habit number 7, the fear of discomfort. I mean, look, we're all wired to seek comfort, but the real danger is when that becomes our primary goal. That's when we start avoiding difficult conversations, new challenges, anything that feels even remotely uncomfortable. Comfort feels safe, right? But it's a trap. It's a trap that leads directly to stagnation, because all of your growth happens just outside your comfort zone. So the crucial point is the shift. Start building the habit of courage by doing one small, uncomfortable thing every single day. See, courage isn't a trait you're born with, it's a habit you build. And that fear of discomfort, well, it often leads right into our 8th habit, trying to control everything. This is that urge to manage outcomes, to make people behave exactly how we expect, and to force certainty where there is absolutely none.
And here we find a really powerful paradox. The more you try to control things outside of your power, the more powerless you actually feel. The solution is subtle, but it's profound. It's not about giving up or not trying. It's about letting go of your attachment to the results. Do your best work, put in the effort, and then release the rest.
And now for our final and maybe the most dangerous habit of all, avoiding solitude. This is that constant need for distraction. Music in your ears, videos on your screen, notifications popping up, anything to avoid just being alone with your own thoughts. The trap here is that we mistake distraction for peace. If silence feels uncomfortable, that's actually a sign that you need it more, not less. The shift is to intentionally spend time alone, with zero input. At first, yeah, it might feel strange, but over time, that's solitude. It moves from uncomfortable to necessary to incredibly powerful. That's where you find clarity, creativity, and a true sense of who you are. So, there you have it, the 9 hidden habits we've uncovered today. From seeking validation and constantly overreacting, to living in the past, fearing discomfort, and running away from solitude. These are the small, daily patterns that destroy our peace from the inside out. And this really is the ultimate takeaway. Our lives aren't shaped by what happens to us. They're shaped by our habitual responses to what happens. The patterns are internal. The enemy, and therefore the power to change, it was always within you. You know, the first step is awareness, and you've just taken it. The next step, that's action. So as we close this out, I want to leave you with this one question to really think about. Looking at this list, knowing what you know now, which one of these habits are you going to choose to change first?